Hello, team. Friday, July 17th. There's so much of me that wants summer to end, and so much of me that doesn't want summer to end. Um, I've always said that I don't want to live my life in anticipation or regret. So I'm going to say again, I'm going to take one day at a time and take on what I can take on and become better because of it. Hey, a couple items as update for you all. Obviously, with all the things going on around us again with COVID 19 and the way that we are starting to respond to that as a nation, led Governor Polis yesterday to declare masks for the next 30 days. That order ends on August 15th. Obviously, that's past the date of return for staff. And so you'll get some information around that moving forward. My hopes are that we can still do in-person learning. There are going to be some precautions that are going to need to be taken, staff. I've had lots of questions from people and even through people of the people's questions. So I want to answer just a couple of those for you. In the background, Andrew Moore has been working hard to make certain that we're in alignment with all recommendations around personal protection equipment, PPE. So we have all that in preparation. We do have hand sanitizers, hand washing stations. We have an ionization sanitation system that comes out of a sprayer that our custodians will be using. We will be wiping down door handles, anything that we can to make certain that we're not transmitting any kind of surface germs. With that, the question always comes up about masks. We do have lots of masks ordered. We also have some face shields ordered if that's an extra added layer of needs for you as an individual if we need to be in masks, which at this point we're going to have to be when we first come back. We also have some masks on order now that will be in on time that have a clear opening on them. In the middle of this, we often forget that some students have needs that they cannot be met when you cover up an entire face with a mask. So we do have those students that read lips, and so we're going to make certain that we have the appropriate masks for those staff members to wear in order to assist our students in the best way possible. We're not going to let visitors into the building as of now. I don't know when that's going to change. So every receptionist, every lead secretary will work when we come back on the week of July 27th to put protocols in place to communicate out to our community, to let them know that they need to stop in the vestibules and they will be assisted in the vestibules rather than coming into the building. It certainly doesn't create a welcoming environment for our community, but I think in this case people will understand the purpose and the reason behind that. On July 29th, we are getting together a group of building leadership teams, principals, directors, and assistant principals at the district level. That is July 29th from 8 to noon. People are going to come together and we'll be safely spaced apart, assuming we can still meet in person, and that still is an option. We'll be safely spaced apart at the high school commons. And during that time, we're going to have just an open session of discussion around the needs of our staff and our students to reintegrate to the reopening of school. Please reach out to one of those team members or your principal or AP if you have some burning or issue questions that you feel need to be addressed during that period of time. I have also stated that the end of that week, somewhere around the 30th, we need to state very clearly what we're going to do in Weld RE8 to make certain that our community has time to respond and time to make some decisions. That 29th will be kind of the time to listen and learn, to make certain that we're addressing all the concerns and all the needs of both staff and community. I will fill you in on that as quickly as we're done with that meeting. And at that time, my hope is we'll be able to make an announcement on what we're going to do. As you know, I would ask again for some grace and patience in this conversation. We heard early in the week that Governor Polis was going to institute a mask order statewide. We've also heard some other items that he may be willing to take on, which include some conversations around expectations for schools. As soon as I learn those, I will also pass those along to each of you so you are well aware of what that means. I have learned over the course of the last 4 months that change is hard. I was driving today, and on every overhead sign on the freeways, there's a sign that says mandatory mask order in effect for all public places in Colorado. And I thought, that was a part of being in stay-at-home orders that I didn't really have to worry about. We would go into the grocery store and put masks on, but certainly not out in general public. We now have a whole new set of realities and normalcies that we're going to have to abide by. Change is hard. Change is difficult. Change is difficult to explain to a 17-year-old son who desperately wants to go back to school, be with his peers, participate in athletics, do some of the things that are more normal in his life. He has the opportunity to listen to calls that I'm on, and sometimes I wished he wouldn't, because there's an awful lot of what ifs that continue to go around during those conversations. Change is difficult, and it has been for me as well. Knowing that I have to put a face mask on every time I go out, that's tough to do. That talks about change being, you make a change when it's the change for discipline or regret, and I'd rather make sure that it's a change for discipline so that later I don't regret not doing what I need to do to end this pandemic, my part to get it back to normal again. I will say this, that the change is inevitable no matter how you view life, but it's how we respond, how we grow from that makes the difference in how our attitude reflects our daily living. I'm going to be truthful. I've had to really think about the growth opportunity around this rather than just the pain of change and the regret of decisions that have been made. Sometimes even my own, just to be very transparent with you. Well, we're nearing the return. It is absolutely my goal, the Board of Education's goal, to give you clear direction. That'll come latest on July 30th. I just want to say again, please go enjoy the last 2 or 3 weeks of your vacation here. Choose your attitude. Know that change is inevitable. I found again that I need to do that to be a better person, even in my own household. It's a great day to be in Wild 8.